I'll say it before, I'll say it again. I have seen hiring managers really stuck between two candidates. They both excelled in the interview, they did great. They'll actually go back to the beginning and understand that initial sense of motivation and fit for the team, and that will be the make or break factor for who they're going to hire in that role. Hey badasses, welcome back to the Badass Careers YouTube channel, which is all about helping you to find your thing, your dream career, or maybe your business idea, brand yourself, and then go out and get it and really do work you love. I had a client of mine ask me the other day if cover letters were dead. You know, it's over, we're in the 21st century, come on, are we still doing these cover letters, motivation letters? Like, what's the point? And quite honestly, it's the exact opposite. Cover letters are so far from being dead. They're just being born. There's a new way of doing cover letters, a modern way, an engaging way that's really gonna help you stand out from the crowd for your job applications, and you absolutely have to learn how to do them well. It's a marketing document that you have to understand and you have to nail. And I've already done a few other videos on cover letters, and I'll link those down below. I think you'll really enjoy them. One video is around the biggest cover letter mistakes you might be making, and the other video actually takes you through 4 key steps to building out a perfect cover letter. So why are cover letters so important? Well, we're in the 21st century, careers are changing, work's transforming, it's a completely different landscape out there. And what we're gonna see more and more often is that it's gonna look a little bit more like a gig economy. Roles are gonna be project-based rather than super long-term contracts where we assume that we're gonna spend 20 years with the same company. And so because the work landscape is changing, the way we sell ourselves has to change as well. We have to get really, really strong on our personal brand, so what makes us us, and getting really good at things like storytelling and being able to articulate your purpose and all of those kinds of things, and that's where the cover letter comes into play. I'll say it before, I'll say it again. I have seen hiring managers really stuck between two candidates. They both excelled in the interview, they did great. They'll actually go back to the beginning, look at their initial application, look back at that cover letter, and understand that initial sense of motivation and fit for the team in the cover letter, and that will be the make or break factor for who they're going to hire in that role. So the cover letter is just such a huge opportunity for you to be able to communicate your drivers, your passion, and your hunger for this role. The biggest challenge is that you have to make sure it gets read by a real human. So not only is it going to be full of great keywords so that it can pass the ATS, the applicant tracking system, get past the robots and get in front of the recruiter's eyes, but when the recruiter sees it for the very first time, you want to make them sit up and be like, pay attention and say, wow, who is this person? And you want the hiring manager to do the same. And the major difference between a cover letter that gets read and a cover letter that just makes their eyes glaze over and they stop reading after 5 seconds is the hook, the opening paragraph. You've got to nail that hook. And if you've been hanging around for a while, if you're subscribed to this channel, you will know that I've got a freebie on this where I give you loads of examples of cover letter hooks from my real clients that have scored an interview. So really inspiring, engaging cover letter hooks or opening paragraphs. So you can grab that in the description box down below, but I highly recommend sticking around for the video because I'm going to talk you through a little bit about the thinking and the why these make such awesome or such terrible hooks. We're actually going to cover some hooks that just mistakes to avoid, things to not say at all in that opening paragraph as well. And I can tell you, after 10 years of working in recruitment and HR, I've seen some really bad opening paragraphs for cover letters, and I don't want that to be you. I've seen opening paragraphs that are incredibly vague, generic, sometimes downright arrogant, and honestly, from a recruiter's perspective, it can be very, very off-putting and kills any chance that you had of getting an interview. And I don't want that to be you. So first, let's jump into some classic cover letter hook mistakes, and then I'll take you through what you should be doing. So a classic cover letter mistake, I like to call this the zero effort approach. Here's an example. As a long-time admirer of company, I was excited to see your opening for a job title, as seen on the enter name of job board. As a job title, professional with over X years of experience, I am confident I have the qualifications required to become a beneficial member of your team. So what's wrong here? Well, the hook is incredibly generic. You could be applying to any profession in any industry at any level, like it gives you nothing. And you could literally just sub in and sub out different company names, and that kind of generic approach and almost laziness, dare I say it, recruiters can smell it from a mile off. The next one I like to call the letdown. So this one's just a little bit disappointing. It goes something like this. Your job posting really spoke to me because I'm certain that the position you describe aligns perfectly with my skills and background, which you will see detailed on my attached resume. Well, I actually love the wording, your job post really spoke to me because, but then I want a real deep reason. I want something that's really made you say, wow, this is the job for me. Not just the generic, like an alignment between my skills and experience. That's honestly just boring. And also just saying my skills and experience, which you'll see detailed on my resume if you go and look. Like honestly, you need to do the work for the recruiter. You need to pull out the skills and experiences that you want them to focus on, and you'll put them in the cover letter. You don't just direct them to the resume. The next example is the vague AF. This one's just way too vague. I know that with my extensive experience, I can contribute to your position as a leader in the industry. I would welcome the opportunity to ensure company name maintains its growth and position in the field. I don't even need to go into this one, it's just vague AF. Other cover letter mistakes include being really desperate, so saying things like, if you give me a chance for the interview, if you hire me, you will not be disappointed, just coming across as someone who's quite desperate to be hired, because humans, it's just psychology, we want what we can't have. We want what's scarce, we want what there's not a lot of, like we want limited edition, right? So if you're saying, I'm available, I'm here, hire me, please, 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 it's like, not so exciting. Another huge mistake is when the hook is really cocky or arrogant and you're basically saying, I'm the best. If you don't take me, you'd be a fool. I'll be your top candidate. I'm sure you'll see if you read my resume that I am the top candidate for your role. Super off-putting. Recruiters do not want to hear that, because at the end of the day, it is the hiring team who will be the judge of who is the top candidate or not you. And you couldn't possibly say that. You don't have all of the applications in front of you. So how do you nail that cover letter hook? Well, I'm going to give you a few examples, but again, if you want all of them, download my freebie in the description box. But at the end of the day, it comes down to influencing people to keep reading. And the way you influence people very often is you make them feel special or you make them feel interesting. It's like when you're at a networking event and you get the other person talking about themselves, it'll be a lot more influential and they'll remember you a lot more than if you're talking about me. So in a cover letter hook, another huge mistake I should have touched on is it's very self-centered, being like, I want to work here because you're a successful company and I want a lot of growth and development. What they want to know is that you have a connection to this role. You've seen this role and it really appeals to you for some reason. And the company appeals to you too. Maybe you have a personal connection to the company. Maybe you're a customer. Maybe you saw your parents using this brand growing up. Maybe you've worked for a competitor. Maybe you've realized that the CEO of this company, they also started out as a graduate on the graduate trainee program that you're currently applying for. Maybe the company is involved with a charity that you're already volunteering for. Maybe you've had a life experience that's caused you to have a fundamental belief or important value or values that are important to you that aligns to the mission of the company. Basically what they want to know here in this cover letter hook, when you really draw them in, is that you have a sense of mission or purpose connected to this role, connected to this company, that's going to drive you and is going to make you keep going when times are tough, when the team's under-resourced, when you've got a lot of pressure on you to meet the deadlines. What is it that's going to keep you motivated and hungry and moving forward? So you need to make them feel special and tell them why you've picked them, and then you move into why they should pick you. Here are some concrete examples that are going to demonstrate exactly what I mean. So this person was a lawyer who was applying for a policy role at the Ministry of Education. So they had to sit down and think to themselves, what is it about the concept of education that I connect with that would make me feel really proud to work for that company? So I call this cover letter hook the we share the same convictions. There is something incredibly inspiring about the power of education. As a legal professional specialized in human rights and policy issues, I've seen firsthand that in order to make a real impact on people and communities, we need to start with education. So linking back their past experience and what they've been working on and how they've seen how important and crucial education is in the big picture, even if she's never worked in education directly before. This is why I'm leaping at the chance to apply my 8 years of policy experience, including education policy, alongside my analytical, problem-solving and relationship-building skills to help shape the future of education with the Ministry of Education. So there was a lot there, but she's really pulled out her 3 core strengths that she's going to build her whole cover letter around, which was the analytical mind, the problem-solving and the relationship-building skills, and she gave loads of concrete examples on those throughout the rest of the cover cover letter, but basically that's the only time she's kind of directly spoken about her in this hook. If you reread it, it was really all about them and her connection to their mission and the mission that they're on. And so as a recruiter, you can see is if she joins that mission, she's going to be there, she's going to be in, you know. The next one I like to call the I grew up with you. So are you a customer and have you been for a long time with this brand? Have you used the product? Have you been exposed to the product or the brand in some way? So this one is someone applying to a staff writer role at Cosmopolitan magazine. I'll never forget the first time I read a Cosmopolitan magazine. School camp, 14 years old, giggling about dating advice with my girlfriends in our tent. Today it is my go-to pick-me-up, empowering me to show up as the best version of myself in work and relationships, coaching me in everything from skincare to finances to networking. We truly grew up together. There's no question here in the recruiter's mind what will keep this person driven in this role. What connects this person to this job, to this company? Another example that I love is the we share the same passions. So maybe you have a thing that you really love, you geek out a little bit over it, so you're really passionate about it. And you found this brand or this company that's kind of built around that thing. So in this example, she's actually a self-confessed Excel geek. She loves Excel. She does all the crazy things that Excel is capable of doing and no one knows how to do. She was working in logistics and she's just completely capable of doing anything she wants in Excel. And she's applying to a company that provides analytics and beautiful visual dashboards and data management services to other companies. Okay, so it's B2B. So she loves the idea of taking the data and the stories in that data and the mission of the company. So let's jump into the example. A self-confessed Excel geek, I've always gotten a kick out of creating beautiful spreadsheets and dashboards that cut through the complexity and allow teams to take action. When I stumbled across Graphy, I knew that I had found people who share similar passions. However, while everyone agrees on the fact that data measurement and monitoring are the secret sauce behind excellent business decisions, most people are either a little data phobic or very much used to working away in their own corner without seeing the bigger picture. This is why I want to make it my personal mission as Graphy's content marketer to raise the visibility of this game-changing product and allow your ideal customers to imagine all the ways in which Graphy could revolutionize their work lives. She's nailed this hook. She's nailed the mission of the company, and she's absolutely connected to her passions, what she loves, self-confessed Excel geek, and she's been able to take that one element about herself and make it really, really obvious that she'd be a great fit, and she gets it, and she's on that journey with you for the mission of this company. The last example that I want to share with you around how to nail your hook is called the I can solve your biggest problem. So this is when someone has really, really taken the time to read between the lines of the job description, the job ad, really understand and put it into one sentence. What is this hiring manager looking for? What is the problem that they need solving? In this specific example, the business is a website. It's a website that you visit, and they were hiring someone to look after the user experience design of their website. So it goes a little something like this. All the pixels and code in the world can't save a website from a bad user experience. When your website literally is your business with 6+ million customers worldwide relying on your interface to be all different flavors of awesome, it truly is a matter of survival. So how can we take Deeza's website from really good to really great, having customers shout yay along the way? So again, they've absolutely nailed it here. They've recognized that it's not just the UX on a website. Their business is their website. It is a matter of survival. They get it, they get the importance. And then they'll jump in and say something like, as a UX and graphic designer with 9 years of experience in designing new website functionalities, blah, blah, blah. And they explain, okay, I've got it, I've seen your problem, and this is how I'm gonna help you solve it. So I hope this was helpful in helping you guys understand the importance of a cover letter hook, what not to do, what to do instead. Download the freebie for more examples so you can make that link and start imagining, okay, where am I at? What makes me me? What is it about my story, my life experiences, my professional experiences that can really help me to thrive in this role? What is it about me as a human that no one else can replicate that can make me excellent in this role and at this company. I'd love to know which of your cover letter hooks are your favorite in the comments below. Please let me know. And if you guys have any examples of a time that you've applied and you've really used your personal story or a human connection to make the link in your cover letter, let me know. I love to hear those kinds of stories from people who have been very strategic and badass with their careers just like you. And if you're someone who gives a shiz about your career and you want it to be really successful and fulfilling and to be able to do your career on your terms, then hit subscribe, because every single week I'm pumping out new content that's going to help you do just that. So until I see you guys next time in the next video, stay badass and I'll see you soon.